Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, reveal the books I bought this week, and, if I screw up, a blooper reel. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that logo! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Coming to you from Southern Realms Comics and Games here in Ruston, Louisiana. And continuing my salute to the Ruston Grambling area, this is a Grambling State University themed Comic Hero tee. And to go along with it is Grambling State hat. Now, after this week, that's going to be it for all the colleges. I'm also going to, starting next week, I'm going to cover all the high schools, which are, if I'm not mistaken, 3 of them. But if there's some high schools that you want me to represent on this show, let me know. Contact info's down there. All right, and speaking of t-shirts, it's time to give away a free one. All right, last week's episode, I asked, besides Bruce Wayne, name at least 2 characters who have taken on the mantle of Batman. Well, there have been several of them. It's been Dick Grayson, Jean-Paul Valley, James Gordon, even Dr. Hugo Strange. And, you know, there have been a lot of folks that have given like, answers that I didn't even know were true until I looked them up myself, and I thought, oh, I had no idea Wolverine was a Batman. But anyway, 13 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their names have been entered in a drawing for a free tee, and that drawing takes place right now. So, the winner of the free tee in this week's episode of the show is Courtney Emerson from Arlington, Texas. So congratulations, Courtney. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right, here's the question for next week's episode. Before Johnny Storm, there was someone else who was called the Human Torch. Who was it? Everyone who answers correctly will be in a drawing for a free tee in next week's episode of the show. Now, my good friend D'Angelo Ballou from Warren, Ohio, has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features someone that was born on a Monday and someone who always is out for the hunt. Representing DC, we have Solomon Grundy, and representing Marvel, we have Kraven the Hunter. These two are gonna duke it out in a segment I like to call
the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Solomon Grundy versus Kraven the Hunter. Solomon Grundy possesses superhuman strength and stamina, healing factor, near invulnerability, virtual indestructibility, and immortality. Kraven the Hunter is an Olympic-level athlete, gifted tactician, hunter, and hand-to-hand combatant who possesses superhuman strength, speed, agility, stamina, durability, senses, reflexes, and longevity. Who will win? This fight features an unstoppable force versus an unmovable object. Due to Grundy's zombie-like mobility, he would have a hard time landing a hit on Kraven. The latter would duck and or block every attack. However, Kraven wouldn't be too successful on offense either, due to Grundy's invulnerability and immortality. Kraven would then wrap a steel cable around Grundy's neck in an attempt to choke him out. This proves to be both unsuccessful and fatal, as Grundy yanks the end of the steel cable that Kraven is holding towards him and punches Kraven's head clean off his torso. Solomon Grundy wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and if you have fight requests for future episodes, contact info is down there. Alright, it's back, folks. After more than a year, it's back. It's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! All right, now the first thing I want to talk about is this new event coming in Marvel called Legacy. and this takes place right after Secret Empire, where where characters like the original Thor meets the current Thor, and then they team up with them, and then somewhere along the way, I think some of the books are going to return to their original numbering. Like Invincible Iron Man is going to return to its original numbering. Amazing Spider-Man is going to turn into its original numbering. The Mighty Thor is going to turn to its original numbering. I just hope Marvel is. I hope Marvel knows what they're doing, because it seems like every time they try to reinvent something, or they try to make their books better, they always make them worse. And the only thing that's really been saving their bacon for like the last few years are the movies and the TV shows. Well, honestly, there's nothing wrong with. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the movies or TV shows. Absolutely not. But what I am saying though, it's just like the song by Heatwave. Ain't no half stepping. If you're gonna have a company like that, you need to do well in every division. Marvel did well in just about every division until about the first Iron Man came out. Then it started tanking. And DC, meanwhile, although they're not doing very well in terms of the TV and the movies, with the exception of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was a great movie. Ever since Rebirth, they redeemed themselves with Rebirth, because they have been on fire ever since then. Now, when they did New 52, I kind of raised an eyebrow, and then I read some of the books, and the eyebrow got even higher. One of the few things I liked about it was was Cyborg. I love what they did with Cyborg. They retold his origin, and they made him a founding member of the Justice League. Now, and I also love what they did with Aquaman. Jeff Johns transformed him and made him into something more than just a superhero that can talk to fish. This guy can rip you a new one, and then some. And so, back to Marvel though. If they're going to have, they can't just rely on the TV and the movies. They have to do very well in every division, and the same thing goes with DC. Even though they're also in partnership with Warner Brothers, you just have to do well in every division. If you do, in this. All right, well, that's it for Comically Speaking. And if you have any topics for future episodes, contact info is down there. I always come out with my own, but you know what? I also want to get the input from others. I'm always willing to hear what others have to say, or what they want me to talk about. This is a fan show. This isn't just my show. It's my show. I host it, but at the same time, I'm not going to be like one of those blowhards that's going to say, "Well, it's my show. I don't care what anyone thinks." No, I don't do that. All right, then. Let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Spider-Gwen number 22. Now, I'm very behind on this book, but what I can tell you, this is Gwen Stacy if she would have been bitten by the radioactive spider that bit Peter Parker. And from what I've read, it's been a great book. She's gone up against Wolverine. She formed a relationship with the Miles Morales Spider-Man. She's teamed up with Spider-Woman and Silk. It's just been one crazy ride. And then she's also met the Matt Murdock of her Marvel Universe. All right, next up is Deadpool number 34. Now, this is a tie-in to Secret Empire, and Deadpool at the very beginning of it is one of Captain America's Avengers, but we know that Deadpool, and the only reason is because Deadpool idolizes Captain America. Captain America is his homeboy, but then when he finds out what he's really doing, he's like, "Oh, I may be crazy, but I'm not stupid." It's on. All right, next up is All New Guardians of the Galaxy number 7. Now, this is a new series that's written by Jerry Duggan. And Duggan has also worked on other books like Nova and Deadpool. And this is the core Guardians of the Galaxy members. All the members that we all love, like Star-Lord, Gamora, Groot, Rocket, and Drax. And for some reason, Groot won't grow back to his adult size. And we find out the only reason is because there was someone else that had planted a whole bunch of Groots in their yard, and that's why he's not growing. After all, there can only be one Groot. All right, next up is Action Comics number 984. This is a continuation of the story arc entitled Revenge, where the Superman Revenge Squad is formed, and these members consist of Cyborg Superman, the Eradicator, Blanc, Mongul, Metallo, and they're out to for one reason. Oh, and General Zod, and they're out for one reason: to kill Superman. But of course, it won't be long until the Superman family come a calling, and I'm talking about Supergirl, the new Superman, the one from China, and then Superwoman, and Steel, just to name a few. It's on. All right, next up is Supergirl number 9. Now, I'm very behind on this book also. Supergirl, one thing I love about this book is that they've combined elements of the previous story arc with the current TV series that's on the CW, and she's been adopted by the Danvers family in National City, and she goes to this high school full of young scientists while helping the DEO. All right, next up are 2 issues of the same book, and that book is Green Lanterns. I have Green Lanterns number 27 and Green Lanterns number 28. Now, they recently found out that the First Lantern had been masquerading as switched bodies with Rami, the wayward Guardian, and they defeated him. But in doing so, they opened a whole bunch of other mess. All right, that's 7 I bought, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 8,103. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And here's the question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Before Johnny Storm, there was another Marvel character who went by the Human Torch. Who was it? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee in next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Courtney Emerson from Arlington, Texas, for a free tee in this week's episode of the show. All right, it's birthday time here on the Comic Hero Show. And happy birthday yesterday to one of my friends that I was in band with at ULM, Allie Nugent. Happy birthday yesterday to Homer, Louisiana's very own Mrs. Patricia Walker. And happy birthday today to one of my friends that I went to school with at ULM, Kat Canales. Happy birthday today to one of my friends that I used to be in band with at ULM many years ago, Katie Taylor. Happy birthday to one of my friends that I was also in band with at ULM, Lauren Walker. Happy birthday to one of my friends that I was in band with at Tech many years ago, Stacy Perlander. And happy birthday to one of my friends that I went to high school with at Homer High School, Jerry Shepard.
Oh, no.
All right. Now, I have some shirts here. So far there are only 6, but I'm gonna make more, and I'm gonna bring some here every week. And next week I'm going to be, in my salute to the Ruston and Grambling area, I'm going to be wearing a Ruston themed Comic Hero tee. So all you Bearcats, all you folks that graduated from Ruston High School, all you kids that currently go to Ruston High School, all you parents that have kids that go to Ruston High School, next week's episode is for you. Just like this week's episode is for everyone that went to GSU. And then the last 2 episodes were for everyone that went to Tech. that's pretty much what I'm doing in the first few episodes here at Southern Realms Comics and Games. Such a great place, y'all, to come out here. I mean, they're teaching HeroClix classes every Saturday. You can also buy some awesome shirts along with the Comic Hero tees, and some Southern Realms hats. And I'm also looking at a role-playing Guardians of the Galaxy game, and then Secret Wars. And then there's some vintage comics here. I mean, I'm seeing Out There, which was this awesome book that was written by Brian Augustyn with art by Humberto Ramos. But anyway, really had a lot of fun in this episode. Can't wait to do it again next week. I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 178 right back here at Southern Realms Comics and Games. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and go Tigers! All right, first thing I want to talk about in the recently returned bloop reel. All right, now the first thing I want to talk about in this recently returned comically speaking segment. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Before Johnny...